in the heart of a serene valley, where the sun painted the sky with hues of gold and rose each morning. There existed a village seemingly untouched by the relentless currents of time. This place, known as Okaven, was a haven of peace, where life unfolded with a gentle rhythm, dictated by the changing seasons and the quiet murmur of the surrounding forests. The houses were built with love and care, adorned with vibrant flowers, and every lane whispered tales of the past, blending harmoniously with the promise of each new day. The air was perpetually filled with the sweet aroma of blooming lavender and the distant echoes of laughter and song. In this idyllic setting lived a young boy named Finn. Unlike the other children, who were often seen exploring, playing, and engaging with the world with boundless enthusiasm, Finn possessed an extraordinary lack of ambition. He was not mischievous nor rebellious. He seemed to float through life, content with the stillness of his surroundings. Finn had an uncanny ability to lose himself in the present moment, often at the expense of the responsibilities and the numerous opportunities life presented him. He would spend his days sprawled upon a grassy knoll, his gaze fixed on the ever-shifting clouds, or drift aimlessly through the village, seemingly impervious to the passing of time. His family, a loving and concerned bunch, often tried to guide him, their hearts filled with good intentions. His mother would gently coax him towards helping with the chores, while his father would patiently attempt to ignite his interest in learning new things or pursuing a trade. His friends, with playful nudges and teasing, invited him to participate in their games and to explore the woods around the village. Yet, Finn remained distant, his mind seemingly drifting in a realm of its own. He found comfort in the quiet and solitude and remained oblivious to the concerns that gnawed at his family and friends. They all felt that while they were always looking forward, Finn was seemingly content to just be in the moment. At one particularly warm afternoon, as the village basked in the golden glow of the sun, a woman named Elara arrived in Okaven. Elara was not from these parts. She was known far and wide as a beacon of wisdom and a guardian of ancient knowledge. She was a traveler, a scholar, and a compassionate soul who had devoted her life to understanding the rhythms of the world. She was a small woman with a face lined with the gentle map of her life and eyes that seemed to hold the depths of endless seas. She walked with the slow confidence of a tree deeply rooted in the earth. The villagers had heard tales of her remarkable insight, and their hearts were filled with anticipation. They waited for a glimpse of her in hope of gaining some of the wisdom they needed. News of Elara's arrival spread quickly through the village, igniting a spark of excitement in the hearts of the villagers. They gathered in the central square, whispering among themselves, eager to catch a glimpse of this remarkable woman and perhaps receive her blessing. Amidst the bustle, Finn found himself drawn into the crowd. Yet, unlike the others, he did not share in their enthusiasm. He was merely curious and observing the spectacle from a distance, his mind still lost in its own peaceful reverie. He had a hard time feeling the urgency that everyone around him seemed to have, as Elara sat beneath the shade of a large willow tree near the town's well. A sense of tranquility enveloped her. She seemed at peace within the chaos of the moment. Her presence was magnetic, drawing the villagers closer, like moths to a gentle flame. With a deep breath, Finn made his way toward her. He approached her slowly, a mixture of uncertainty and curiosity swirling within him. He was no match for the draw of Elara's calmness, which seemed to calm his normally distant mind. He wondered if this was the beginning of a change within him. Finn reached Elara, stopping a short distance away from her. With a polite nod, he spoke, his voice low and slightly trembling. "Honored one," he began, "I have heard that you possess a great well of wisdom. I confess that I struggle to find meaning in my life. Time seems to slip through my fingers, and I often find myself doing nothing at all. I know this is not the way I want to live my life, but don't know how to find a different path. Elara listened with keen interest, her gaze soft and full of compassion. She did not interrupt him, letting him pour out his heart. When he had finished speaking, she nodded slowly as if acknowledging the weight of his words. With a slow, deliberate gesture, Elara reached into a worn leather bag that lay beside her. She pulled out a beautifully crafted Sundial, its surface intricately engraved with celestial symbols. Its polished bronze gleamed in the afternoon sun, casting intricate patterns of light and shadow upon the ground. It was an ancient artifact, passed down through generations of wisdom keepers, and it radiated an aura of profound understanding. Elara held it out to Finn, extending her hand slowly. Finn hesitated for a moment, then gently took the Sundial from Elara's hand, his fingers brushing against its cool surface. The weight of the artifact surprised him, and he noticed the many intricate symbols engraved on its face. He turned it over in his hands, mesmerized by its beauty and the sense of history it seemed to possess. He wasn't sure what it was for or why she was showing it to him, but he knew that it was significant. Elara spoke with a gentle tone, her words like a melody. "This Sundial," she explained, "is a representation of time, not as something to be measured or feared, but rather as a constant dance of moments, each with its own inherent value." She gestured to the shadow as it moved steadily across the Sundial's face. "See how it shifts with the passing sun. Each shift of the shadow signifies an opportunity. A moment that once passed will never return. Time, my child, is an inexorable force." Finn watched the Sundial, his gaze fixed on the shifting shadow. He was beginning to understand the true nature of time, that it was not something to be taken lightly. It was a precious gift and an opportunity that should be embraced with intention and purpose. His mind, once drifting in a sea of aimless thoughts, was starting to focus on the weight of each passing second. His unease started to slowly grow into a feeling of understanding that was new to him. Elara observed Finn with a profound sense of compassion and understanding. She could see the seeds of awareness taking root in his heart, the recognition of his wasted time and the desire to make a change. She didn't rush him. She knew that these things took time and patience. Instead, she waited patiently for him to absorb the full weight of her words. She watched as the worry formed in his brow and began to understand why he lived as he had. Finn lifted his gaze, his eyes now filled with a sense of urgency and a newly acquired resolve. "How can I learn to value this time?" he asked, his voice now carrying an undercurrent of determination. "How can I make each moment count and ensure I am not letting it slip away carelessly?" He had questions that he didn't know how to ask, yet he had the courage to begin finding the answers. Elara smiled warmly, the lines around her eyes crinkling with kindness. "Begin by looking around you, young Finn," she said, gesturing to the world that surrounded them. "See the beauty in each passing moment, the opportunities that lie waiting in every task. Start by setting small goals for yourself, manageable steps that bring you closer to the life you envision." She pointed to the village, the trees, and the sky. "The world is an open book waiting to be read. Time is not just about doing." Elara continued, drawing her hand back towards the Sundial. "It is equally about being. It is about finding balance and harmony within your heart. It is about allowing the time for silence, reflection, and growth. It is not just about planning a busy schedule, but about curating a life that nourishes your soul." She touched her chest gently. "The answers you seek lie within you, my child." With renewed purpose, Finn returned home. He decided to start by creating an environment of order and focus. He put away his toys, carefully placing each item in its designated space. He sorted through his books, arranging them neatly on the shelves. He began to feel a shift within him. His normally chaotic world was slowly turning into a place of peace and purpose. The next morning, Finn started with a schedule. He set aside time to complete his daily chores, for reading, for exploration, and for helping his family. He made a conscious effort to prioritize his tasks, focusing on one thing at a time and ensuring that each task was completed with care and intention. His family was surprised. They watched in amazement as Finn approached his chores with renewed vigor and focus. He helped his mother in the kitchen, his fingers moving deftly as he chopped vegetables. He assisted his father in the garden, working diligently with the soil, tending to the plants with care. His family was so surprised to see such a change in their son. They felt a great wave of love and pride. Finn's love for the outdoors had not diminished, but rather had grown into something new and profound. He still wandered through the woods, but now he wasn't just wandering. He was there to explore, to discover, and to engage with the natural world around him. Unusual leaves and sketches of the flora and fauna, using his time not only to enjoy and create. He saw the beauty in the smallest of details, his imagination coming alive. With the help of his father, Finn also discovered a natural talent for carpentry. He would spend hours at his father's workbench learning how to shape wood, to join pieces with precision, and to transform raw materials into beautiful, useful objects. He seemed to have a special connection to the wood, understanding its grain and texture. His dedication to the new craft began to grow with each project. Finn also found great joy in books. He realized how important it is to seek knowledge and new ideas. He no longer just skimmed through pages aimlessly, but dived deeply into the stories and teachings within them. He highlighted passages that resonated with his heart and took notes on the lessons that he learned, his mind coming alive to the wonders of the world. He found it was important to focus and be mindful of his time. Even when reading, the village was having a harvest festival, a time of joy, gratitude, and celebration. Finn also participated in the joyous occasion, performing music for everyone. He seemed to have a knack for the instrument, his fingers moving across it with ease. He played with joy and passion, his heart filled with the sense of connection to the people and his desire to share beauty with everyone around him. But above all, Finn valued his time with his loved ones. He made an effort to be fully present when he was with his family and his friends, engaging in meaningful conversations, sharing laughter and stories, and creating memories that would last a lifetime. He finally understood that true treasure didn't lie in accomplishment alone, but in the love and connection that was shared. As the days turned into weeks and the weeks into months, Finn noticed a profound positive transformation in his life. He was no longer drifting through life. He was navigating it with intention, purpose, and joy. He would often look at the Sundial, a reminder of his journey. He was forever grateful to Elara, and he sought her out to thank her personally. Finn reached Elara, his heart full of gratitude. "Thank you, honored one," he said with sincerity, "for showing me the true meaning of time. I understand now that each moment is a gift and not something to take for granted." He looked at the Sundial again. He knew this journey was not over and it would take a lifetime to learn the true secrets of time. Elara smiled, placing her hand on Finn's shoulder with a gentle touch. "Your journey has just begun, dear one," she said. "Continue to seek growth, to embrace every moment with intention and gratitude, and you will live a life of true richness." She winked at him and then gestured towards the Sundial. "Remember that the time you create is more important than the time that passes." The years passed and Finn grew older. His dedication to his work, his love for his family, and his connection to the community continued to grow, his inner spirit shining ever brighter. He became known not just for his talents, but for his wisdom and his ability to live a life that was true to himself. He continued to learn every day, growing into a man that he never thought he could be. With his hair turned gray, he continued to share his wisdom with the young. He would often gather the children of the village, sharing his own journey with them and inspiring them to value each precious moment of their lives. He would show them the Sundial, teaching them to see each day as an opportunity for growth, for connection, and for creating a life that was filled with meaning and purpose. Finn continued to hold dear the lesson that Elara had shared with him many years ago. He understood that time wasn't simply a commodity to be bought and sold, but it was a precious gift to be treasured. He knew that true wealth wasn't measured in possessions or worldly achievements, but in the richness of experiences and the connections he shared with others. He realized that his life's purpose was not to simply exist, but to live, and he embraced every moment with intention and joy. And so the story of Finn echoed through the halls of time, his message reminding the generations that followed to value every moment, to seize every opportunity, and to live a life that was truly meaningful. His legacy lived on, not just as the man who understood time, but as the man who understood the true value of life. And as the sun set each evening, the people of Okaven would remember the story of Finn, and they would continue to share the wisdom that he passed on. They learned to understand that time is fleeting, a precious gift that must be cherished and used wisely. They lived their lives with purpose and with gratitude, understanding the true meaning of a life well lived